Thank you, President Sheila. Good morning. What a great day to be at Rotary today, right?
Right.
Okay. At least we got a couple of people. We are Rotary, y'all. Okay. Just making sure everybody knew. No birthdays today, but before we get to the anniversary, let's remember Mr. Sam Nichols' family in prayer and peace and comfort. As of course, many of y'all know, Sam Nichols was formerly the superintendent of education for the Dothan City Schools, also a former Rotarian and member of this club. There will be a military funeral service tomorrow at 1 p.m. at sunset. And also, I think we need to give a big round of applause for one of our fellow Rotarians. I'm so glad to see him back. He looks great. Ben Slingler. Ben? Yeah. We remember Ben in his absence and prayers since he has been gone. Ben, we're glad to see you back, man. You look great.
Glad to be back.
I may need to put glasses on. You look great. Anyway, the one anniversary today, the job that I'm supposed to be doing is congratulations to Seth Brooks and Jordan. Their anniversary is on May 21st. You all have a great week. Thank you.
Also, Tom Sorrell is, I wanted to mention, sat with us today. He's been out sick for several weeks, so we're glad he's back also. Introduction of guests and visiting Rotarians, Reverend Daryl.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Madam President, we are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When I call your name, if you would, please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized. We only have two. That's good this morning, for me at least. Rick Chapman, guest of Arthur Gardner, and visiting Rotarian Brandon Shue from the Tuesday Club. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you all for coming.
Camp Hampton, Greg. What's our total, Greg?
The total is $3,701.
$3,701 points.
Stay legal here.
And the last four. 8182. 8182.
You're getting close.
All right.
There's a card in there.
It's in there.
I was gonna say, make this trip worth it. Double check. It will not last.
What was that now?
8182.
8182. That's it.
Match. All right.
It's a spade.
You got it.
Wow! See, it is in there.
Yeah, luck of the Irish.
Good deal. So next week we'll start that over again. Mr. Gardner, Arthur Gardner has an announcement for us.
Good afternoon. I placed on the table an invitation from Mike Spitz to attend the Boy Scout fundraiser next Tuesday night, May 24th. Terry's been getting on to me about choosing election day for that, so but hope you will come out to Gerald Benson's Auto Investors out South City Lane off of 52 West. That evening, there's details on the backside. If you can come and see the classic cars that Gerald has out there, I think you'll have a fun evening. Beer and barbecue, classic cars all go together. So hope to see you there. If you can't come, see me. We can get a form for you to make a donation on. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Some of gonna run through a couple of announcements. Saturday, May the 21st is the Love Dothan event again. If any of you are interested in going to that, they're going to meet at the Family Life Center behind First Baptist Church. They're gonna be doing work in that general area. It'll be from 8 a.m. until noon. So that's this coming Saturday. And the White Elephant Sale, if you were not here, I think you missed a great time. I think Kelly was, as she always is, magnificent. She pulled together with a lot of help from other people, but it was a great event. And she is at home sick. So I told her that I will make the announcement that if you have not paid, please do so, because she's trying to get everything tallied up. I know we had a good turnout. I know we had wonderful gifts, good food and a great time, but we don't know our totals yet. So if you could please help us get that done by seeing Heather or Jeannie or me or Cynthia, somebody, and let's get that taken care of as soon as we can. Jenny, can you come help me? Thank you. Also, if Robert Ferguson would come, David Hanks, and Larry Williams.
Go get them, Chief.
Woo!
Oh, no. There's on what route.
So being a Paul Harris Fellow is a big deal, but being a Paul Harris Fellow Plus is a bigger deal. And I think maybe sometimes we get used to it because we have so many wonderful people in our club. But these three men are Paul Harris Fellow Plus. David is +8.
Lord.
Robert is a +1, and remind me about Chief Larry, he's a +2. So it is a big deal. We are so fortunate to have you in our club, and we appreciate you. And I'm gonna read my remarks. Becoming a Paul Harris Fellow is a tremendous accomplishment and honor. The award is named in honor of Rotary's founder, Paul Harris, and is in recognition of supporting the Rotary Foundation by a contribution of $1,000. Contributions can be made to honor others as well. These gifts help provide for the construction of wells, vaccinations, meals, education, and professional opportunities to children and adults. So you guys have repeatedly gone above and beyond in doing good, and you'll probably never even meet those people that you've helped, but you still help them. And we appreciate you, appreciate what you do. So let's congratulate them. Okay, so that's a big deal. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to take liberty as past president to take to the podium. Mike Azar, you come down? And Sheila, will you come down? I've been knowing Sheila for 50+ years. I won't go beyond that. But I became friends with her because she was a school year or church friend of my first wife, Cheryl. And that's how I first came to know Sheila. Sheila comes from a family that always believed service above self. Matter of fact, I remember her parents vividly, and they served in the local church in their community. And her brother, her older brother, was my pastor at one time. So I'm going to take liberty to honor her today as a Paul Harris Fellow +1. I'm not going to go through all the list of things, but I think you already know how much she serves us here in the club, but she serves this community very well. And she is now being awarded the Paul Harris Fellow +1
And I'm not gonna pin it on her, but her husband is mine. She is my honor to honor you today as a Paul Harris Fellow this morning. And she didn't know it. We have a lot of birdies in our club.
I did not know what James was up to, but thank you. Okay. Josh and Chris. So we get to welcome a new member today also, and Josh is going to introduce him to us.
It's an honor for me to be up here to introduce the club to our newest member, Chris Jackson. Chris is proud to have always called South Alabama home. Coming from a family of Christian entrepreneurs and farmers, Chris has always had an interest in business and ministry. In 2014, Chris, along with two friends, founded Ironworks, a ministry designed to reach the men of South Alabama. For almost 8 years, they hosted the old school men's meeting where men were served a free steak dinner while sitting under national quality speakers. In 2018, Chris became a personal and leadership coach with 10 Man Ministries. There he worked with Christian businesses and ministry leaders from around the world to discover who they were made to be so they could do what they were made to do. Starting in this year, Chris has combined his interest in business, ministry, and leadership coaching with C12. C12 is a global network of Christian business leaders focused on building better businesses for a greater purpose. Chris's wife, Shannon, is an invaluable part of his life, work, and ministry. Chris and Shannon call Andalusia home and love to spend time with their 6 kids and chase adventures around the country. I do want to say the short amount of time that I've known Chris, he's become a really good friend of mine, somebody that I care about dearly, and a mentor, kind of a role model. So I'm really excited for Chris to be joining our club. So help me welcome.
Will give him his school-way test that was plaque that you can put where you can see it and look at it and be reminded of it, and then your badge that you wear at meetings, and that's how Heather takes attendance. So, and then the pin, and then at the end of the meeting, if maybe you go out and let everybody shake hands and welcome you, that would be good, but let me read your comments also. It's our duty as members of the club to have new members, and so you've been elected to membership in this club because we believe you possess the qualities that it takes to be a Rotarian. And not only to Dothan Rotary Club, but also to an international organization, which means that you probably already know you'll be welcome in Rotary meetings wherever you're at. And it does have duties and obligations, though. When you're called on to serve, we would appreciate if you would, I think I was told when you're asked to serve, the answer is yes. We now formally admit you to membership, and we are so glad to have you. So, thanks for being a part. Thank you, Josh. All right, that video I have is coming up. All right, this video is from, and the sound is from the district conference that we just recently had in Muscle Shoals. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. If you've never been there, it was, and I had never been. So there was a lot to see and a lot to do, but also it was a lot of fun to be with other Rotarians in that setting. And we learned a lot of different things about Rotary, and we were able to partner with another organization and package over 30,000 meals, individual meals for people that were in need. But we also learned a lot about our district governor, and you will see him on stage, and you will see that he can sing, and that he can dance, and he can dress like a movie star. It was very interesting, and you know, I just wanted to share a little bit from what happened that weekend with you guys. Sound? No? Well, I hate you're missing the sound because we had some good music. Mike Ajar put it together for me. But we had this music while we were actually packaging the meals too, so they kept you going. I guess, Bruce, you could just sing for us. So they were putting packaging the meals, and they were very organized and had it set up so that put a scoop of rice, you put a scoop of vegetables, dehydrated vegetables, put a scoop of soy, and then you weighed it out the exact amount in a bag, and the bag was sealed and put in a box, and it was a great experience. There's our district governor.
Need sunglasses.
And you notice the coat, but you could notice those pants also.
Yeah. We did you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought we had it, but anyway, you see that it was a good time. It was well attended. There was a lot to do, and then there was enough downtime for you to get to see the area. So next time there's a district conference, think about going. It's a good weekend. And there's Bruce. Okay. Dennis and Lori, would you guys come up? We have some very special guests today. Bruce McNeil put together a contest in the school. I'm gonna let them talk more about it, but we're very honored to have some students here to share this.
So Bruce approached me about this when I became a member of Rotary, and as well, superintendent. It's our honor and privilege to carry on the Rotary way in-house in our Dothan way. So we did have a writing contest that we put forward to our students. We look forward to making this an annual event for our students to write on the four-way, what the meaning of four-way is for them. And so we had a contest throughout the district, and we did have a couple of winners. We've got several. I think we're going to have some here today, as well as next week. We'll have some more here next week. So we're proud of the students and their efforts to participate in this program. And we have Laura Shaughnessy here that kind of headed that up for us at the district level. And I'll turn it over to Laura.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to introduce our two students. I'm going to do one at a time so I can give them some spotlight. So our first student is Mackenzie Strain. He is an 8th grader at Dothan Preparatory Academy. He's involved in SGA as a representative. He's a member of the National Juniors Honor Society. He also plays baseball and basketball for DPA. He was also voted Christian Athlete of the Year this year, and he aspires to be a sports analyst or a sportscaster when he grows up. He wrote about the four-way test, and he's going to come up here and share his essay.
Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Let's start. The four-way test is a way people can look at life to help them make better decisions. The 4 steps of the four-way test are: is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will be beneficial to all concerned? This process can greatly help us think about how our choices will affect others and not just think about ourselves. My understanding of the meaning of these 4 pillars comes from the words of wisdom taught to me over the past 13 years by my mom. Is it truth? Truth is subjective, meaning that what I truly believe to be the truth could not be what someone else thinks. So this pillar to me means that when we are talking and making decisions, we need to be thinking not only is this true or factual, but more importantly, do I think this is true? Do I think this is the right thing to do? Because we can't let other people's opinions change what we think is true. My mom has always taught me from a young age that it's okay to be wrong as long as you did what you thought was right. That's what this means to me. Is it fair to all concerned? When we are making decisions and saying what is on our mind, we need to think about if what we are saying and doing is fair to everyone that it concerns. With my mom and I, when we are making decisions or want to say something, she can always help me to see that what I did or what I wanted to do might not be fair to all parties. Keeping this pillar in mind can help us establish more trust and better relationship with our peers because they know that when we are making decisions, they have peace of mind knowing that we're always thinking about them. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? When we are making choices in our everyday life, we need to keep this in mind. When we are at the store and the person in front of us is short $1 and you give it to them, when you're in the school in the hallway and someone drops their stuff and you have to pick it up, little things like this are what this means to me. Doing little or big things in your everyday life that can make someone else's day better. My mom will sometimes write me a note on my lunch or when I get in the car, ask me how my day was. And whenever I get home, I can do the dishes or sweep, something that can make my mom's day better. That's what this means to me. What can I do throughout my day to make someone else's day 1% better? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When we are making decisions, just think about what am I doing to help everyone involved? When you are hanging out with friends and think about doing or saying something, you have to think, should I really do / say this? Is this going to help anybody? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't do it. My mom's favorite food is sushi, which I really like, but no one else in my family likes it, so we don't really have it that often. Even though it's my mom's favorite food, she doesn't have it because she knows that my sister and my stepdad don't like it. Or when I really want to go to eventually, my sister wants to go to Actionaire, we go to Actionaire because it just makes everyone happy. That's what this means to me. How can I make everyone around me happier with my choices and actions? Anyone who reads this would notice that my mom's had a profound influence on who I am and the choices I make. Even though the possibility of me becoming a parent is at least a decade away, I hope that I can take the lessons that my mom has instilled into me and teach them to my children. I want my son to understand truth. There are so many lies in this world today, and I want to teach my son to always be honest with his words and actions. Everyone makes mistakes, but I want him to always be honest about what happened. I want my son to treat all those with fairness, and I want my son to treat others the way he wants to be treated. I will teach my kid that if you wouldn't want someone to say it to you, you shouldn't say it to them. I want my son to build long-lasting friendships. Friends are important. Having a good friend by your side is like having a crutch when you break your leg. The Bible teaches us, and I paraphrase, 2 is better than 1 because if a man falls alone, he has no one to help him up. I want my son to always have the help he needs when I can't be there. I want my son to benefit from his life experience, and the way he treats others can open up many opportunities in his life. I hope the lessons that I instill in him from my mother can one day be taught to his children.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Our next speaker is Natalie Boyer. She is also an 8th grade student at Dothan Preparatory Academy. She is a member of the National Junior Honor Society and is on the DPA yearbook staff. She plays volleyball and is on the cheer squad. Natalie aspires to be a marine biologist because she loves the ocean and helping animals. Please welcome Natalie Boyer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I believe the four-way test is beneficial in many ways. Being an athlete, these skills become beneficial in numerous ways. When reading through these skills, I noticed these are really life skills. Doesn't everyone use these skills? Everyone needs to learn these skills especially children. Really, they appear to be common sense, but currently people do not have these necessary skills to rely on. Some parents do not teach their children manners and how to treat other people. What happens then is they grow up to be adults and struggle throughout their lives. They cannot function within society. It is unfortunate that we are raising a whole generation of kids that do not understand that life depends on these skills such as fairness, truthfulness, and building better friendships. Our lives on knowing right from wrong. Our lives depend on knowing right from wrong. We wonder why some struggle and their lives are a complete mess, spiraling out of control. Someone failed to teach them the importance of these rules. Every successful friend I have is a great person, and when I look back, they have all of these qualities. I use these skills in my daily life because they are crucial as an athlete, but also being adolescent. To begin with, truthfulness is always necessary in sports. Perhaps you lied to the coaches and even your teammates. This behavior will cause you to not be trusted and most likely not play or cheer in a game. Not only that, it is a basic life skill we use on a daily basis. Whether you are in a work office or sitting in a classroom, you have to be trustworthy to everyone. Not being truthful can be critical to your reputation. Lying may cause you to lose a job, a spot on your team, or to be without friends or family. Parents begin this skill when children are young, so it becomes natural for them as adults because they know how important it is throughout our lives. Being fair is also important. As a student, I want my coaches to be fair to me. I don't want to worry that they have favorites and I will never make the team. I want to be judged on my ability and not how much they like me. I work hard and do what I'm supposed to. I don't want to be on a team with other athletes who do not put forth the effort I do. I want everyone on my team to work hard and earn their position rather than make the team because they are the coach's favorite. As an adult, I am sure people want the same thing. My mom is a teacher. She wants to be evaluated by her skills and not because she is liked by the principal. Without fairness in the workplace, chaos eventually follows. During the process of being truthful and fair, this can bring better friendships and goodwill to others. One of the skills taught in kindergarten is making friends and choosing good people that will help and build you. The friendships I am building now help me throughout my education years, especially when going into middle school and high school. How does this help me with athletics? In sports, failing to do an event can be upsetting and cause me to think I cannot do anything. Friends will support and give you comfort. They will give you advice on how to do better next time. My sister is going into college in the fall and she is nervous about it. Fortunately, she has friends that are going with her and they are in the same field of study. I cannot imagine having to be alone without knowing anyone. Friends will be able to study with her and help her throughout her college life. When being an athlete, I try to have goodwill to others when they fail. Building up your teammates can help with creating a bond with them during games and practices. All of these skills combined together creates a well-rounded athlete that is beneficial to our society. It is beneficial to our sports teams, but mostly to our society because we are creating well-balanced children. Being truthful, fair, and creating friendships can help children understand that the world relies on all these 4 skills. Without having these skills, children and adults will be unsuccessful in taking care of our society and needs of their fellow peers. When talking about the 4-way test, some may feel that it may not be beneficial to most athletes. As an athlete, I find this very beneficial. When I was in the hospital, my teammates and coach were checking up on me. This act of kindness shows me that they cared about me because I cared about them. I am thankful that I have built these relationships because I know that I am on the right path towards my future. In this world, we have to take care of each other and be mindful of other people's feelings and emotions. I know that I'm on the right path when people reach out to me during the times of struggle and times of celebration. Overall, the 4-way test is beneficial in numerous ways. Whether in sports, behind an office desk, or in a classroom, surrounded by my fellow peers, it is important to have these life skills. I have been successful with these skills because my parents passed these on to me and expected them in our house. I hope in the future that I will create children that understand the importance of learning these skills throughout their life. I hope that I am a strong parent that passes important life skills to my children to be successful. Although all these skills are important, I feel the most beneficial to me is being truthful. Being truthful can help friendships and fairness between others. Also, if you are truthful, the rest will follow and your life will be more enjoyable, knowing that you have these characteristics.
Thank you, James. Bruce, Lori, Peppy, the English teacher. And
Dothan City First.
Dothan City First. Wow, wow, wow. It was great. Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed what you had to say, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate Dothan City Schools for making it happen, and everybody that had a part of it. And what you said was so true. So I hope you'll continue to think about that as you continue with your education. So thank you guys for being here. Okay, and we need to get a picture afterwards. If you notice, guys, we have a bell still, but there's something missing. And I think we can thank our district governor for that. And he actually got an award, the Broken Bell Award. We let him borrow ours, and that's the way he brought it back.
Brother Roberts, first of all, there is a God, because you do not have to listen to the song that was on video.
Oh, we're gonna play it for the,
I think we got it.
we got
I think we
it.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I did break your bell. I don't know how old the bell is, but Sheila was gracious enough to loan me the bell for the district conference. I broke it. But I had some other remarks, but because of time, I'm gonna go straight to the point. I've got a replacement for your bell, and I'll be changing that out in just a moment. But to give our speaker enough time, I'll go right into his comments, or the comments I have for him. First of all, Sean Gibson did not go to Harvard. He did not go to Princeton, but I can assure you, Sean Gibson is a lot smarter than a lot of those people that did. After graduating from Enterprise High School, Sean joined the military under the early enrollment program. He served 2 tours in Korea as a network surveillance engineer, earning the Soldier of the Year award. That doesn't surprise me at all, knowing Sean. After returning home, Sean joined the Enterprise Fire Department, completed his education for paramedic level at Enterprise State. After 10 years serving in Enterprise, he joined the Dothan Fire Department and was appointed to the director position at Enterprise Rescue. So that's two different positions. All firemen have part-time jobs, by the way. During his 10 years as director of the Enterprise Rescue, he managed the medical branch during the Enterprise tornadoes, branch the organization throughout Coffee County and parts of Dale County, and more than tripled the company's financial wealth. During Sean's 20 years at the Dothan Fire Department, he achieved the rank of battalion chief, served as the chief of training and EMS. He served on numerous committees within the community, was a member of the Wiregrass Public Safety Center's steering committee, received the Fire Sergeant of the Year Award, Fire Captain of the Year Award, and the James M. Jones Award. Well deserved. Sean helped lead the initiative for the community CPR program, 12 lead transmission from the field program, medical clinic within the city jail, city vaccination designation, and the department's health and wellness program. Sean retired on January 1st, 22 from the fire service and currently serves as the executive director of the Southeast Alabama EMS Council. And I guess you're wondering what in the world is Southeast Alabama EMS Council? Well, Sean is here to tell you. Sean Gibson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank Bruce for inviting me for this really great opportunity to tell many of you who may or may not be familiar with your Southeast EMS region what it is really all about. Now, this conversation is really going to be a 30,000-foot view, and with time, trying to stay within the time parameters, I'm going to move pretty quickly through it, and so I can leave some time at the end for questions. But one thing that I do want to make sure I say is the Southeast EMS office for all of the counties, which you'll see that we cover, we're housed here in Dothan. We've spent some time in Montgomery, but for the most part, we've been here in Dothan. And I encourage you or anyone that might be interested to come by and actually see what this office does for you and what it does for this community. But again, thank you, Bruce, for having me here. Now, I do have notes that I put on the slides. If any of you've ever messed with slides, you can actually have notes, and they're way over there, and I can't read them very well. So I'm going to kind of, I read over it a lot. I think I'm going to be able to handle this. So I apologize if I get a little out of order and I come back onto some things. But to begin with, I want to start with demographics, because to understand the roles and responsibilities of this office, you need to kind of know what this office covers, the layout and the footprint of this office. So Alabama is divided into 6 EMS regions, and we are region number 5. Region 1 is in the north. Region 2 is the east. Region 3 is central, the Brims, the Birmingham region. Region 4 is the west. Region 5 is the southeast, which the southeast is a unique region. We are actually subdivided into 2 sub-regions. We're the north-southeast region and the south-southeast region. And then you have the Gulf, which is region 6. Now, region 5, as you can see on the map, and I know this is small to look at, but this covers 18 counties. Region 5 is actually demographically the biggest land footprint in the entire state. So we have the most counties and the largest area of any region. However, we're the least populated. And that's one of the reasons I believe that we actually inherited all of these counties. And this is sort of like baseball cards. You have counties sometimes, or like free trade. You have counties that'll opt in or opt out, and a lot of people are drawn to the southeast. And that has grown us all the way up to Bullitt County, Montgomery, Etowah. So we have a far reach inside of this area. But to help us manage, they did subdivide us into regions. Now, they say that for help. However, what that does is that adds a few extra committees. So now we have committees on the north, southeast, and on the south, southeast. So, take it as it is. Inside of like I mentioned, we have 18 counties. This is a list of our counties, and of course, Houston County. As we talk in today's conversation, I'm really framing this around Houston. I'm going to show you the entire footprint, but we're going to see a lot of what serves you here in Houston County and a little bit of neighboring counties. But these are the 18 counties that are inside of our region. And of course, Houston County, not only where we are now, but it is the house to the central office for the Southeast, or Southeast EMS. 21 hospitals inside of our 18 counties. Now, these hospitals are at different levels. They offer different specialities. Some of them are even community hospitals. But inside, of course, Houston County, as you're well aware, is Southeast Health and Flowers Hospital. There's 46 transport services. So imagine all of this just from what I've already said, drawn out on an org chart. This is a massive footprint. There's 46 transport services inside of the Southeast region. Now, what serves us here in Houston County is Ashford EMS, Columbia, Cottonwood, Dothan, which is Filters, Rehoboth, and Wicksburg. Now, if you notice on the slide, Headland is also bold and underlined. The reason that is the community of Kinsey, the town of Kinsey, has a long run and memorandum of understanding with Headland Fire Rescue. So on some of the committees that I sit on, we consider Headland literally as one of our own. They help service the citizens of Houston County, so we count them in the mix with us. They're EMS agents. And then you have 23 non-transport services. Now, these non-transport services, as we talk through some of the particulars of roles and responsibilities, you would almost think these non-transport services are in the back seat. They're just sort of a support function. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. Now, of course, as you heard Bruce say, I'm a recent retiree of the Dothan Fire Department, which is something I'm immensely proud of. Dothan Fire Department is no just backseat service. This is a front seat service. Not only, now those fire trucks may not have a cot in them to physically take you to the hospital, but don't think they don't have every other piece and some. Dothan Fire, Montgomery Fire, Troy Fire, Enterprise Fire, I can't speak enough about this business model of ALS services responding in response to these ambulances. We often get in different events that we had in the Dothan Fire Department questions like, why do fire trucks go on medical calls? And we always thought that was an excellent question. And it has a very specific answer, but one that due to time, I really can't get into the weeds on, but trust me, you want that 4-person advanced life support team there supporting both you while that ambulance is en route to you and while that ambulance is on scene, because medicine is oftentimes more than a 2-man or woman job. And those 6 people can really do a lot of good things to save lives. But these non-transport services they're truly important in the overall emergency medical system. So that's the footprint. That's kind of the demographics of your region, of this region, and of course, specifically the county. So some of the roles, these aren't all of the roles and responsibilities, but these are the big ones. This is really my day-to-day life now that I've taken this position. The first, and these are the ones we're going to talk about, the Alabama Acute Health System, the EMS education piece that we help manage, and a lot of it we provide oversight for. Grant assistance, this is an important piece as well. EMS investigation, this is one I've never been a confrontation kind of guy, but this is one of the pieces that comes with the job, investigating errors. And then EMS agency. So I like to think of the regional office as a support pillar for all EMS agencies. That's what we're there for. We're that person you call when you have a question or a need, or it doesn't matter if it's broke down ambulances or 2 Saturdays ago we were teaching a heart safe press the chest event at the Dothan Fire Department out at the Wiregrass Public Safety Center. And we're just about to get started with the first program when I get a phone call from Laverne Hospital's ER. And the physician's in a full-blown panic and he needs a transport immediately. And that's what we're there for. We stepped aside. Within 5 minutes, we had made 5 or 6 phone calls, and we had an ALS crew coming from several counties away, but coming to get that patient where they needed to be. These are the things we do to support these EMS agencies. And then, of course, committees. We serve on various committees, and we feel that's a strong part of what we're about, supporting our local community. So real quick on the acute health system, a lot of folks are not familiar with this, but the acute health system is kind of the brainchild of a gentleman named Joe Acker. And Joe Acker, he used to be the BRIMS. He was the Central Regions Director for many, many years. He sort of formulated the idea of this system. And then he got a lot of strong backing from Dr. Campbell, which is the late Dr. Campbell. He was the state's emergency medical director at the time. And together, they really spearheaded this program. And what this program does is basically a comprehensive program that takes the illest of calls, which is stroke, trauma, and cardiac, when on these most ill of calls, through a combination of EMS, hospitals, and a very comprehensive communication system. It ties all these links together to make sure if it's myself, my loved one of your friends, its whole goal is to route them to the appropriate place the first time. And that may sound petty and it may not make much sense, but when you're having a stroke and you're having a specific kind of stroke, you really need to go to a very specific facility. All 3 of these that are listed up there, we call these time diseases. And what they mean is the more time that goes by, the more of your brain that's going to die, the more of your heart muscle that's going to die, or just more of you that's going to die with trauma. They're all time diseases. So routing you the right place the first time is what this system is about. And something that I've learned, one of my bosses actually is Bruce. So Bruce sits on a board that's over the EMS region. And he was asking me earlier about it, the things that I have learned. This to date in this position is the most profound thing. The EMS office, we actually do more work in the acute health system than in EMS. I would dare say it's a 60-40. But I say that with pride because this system combined with EMS truly makes a difference for every citizen inside this region. So the components, like I had mentioned, is the EMS transport agencies, the hospitals, and then that comprehensive communication center, which is the Alabama Trauma Communication Center. This was sort of the loose end that Joe had to put together way back so many years ago. And I'll tell you, back here, I didn't go over this, but the Brims region actually launched this system in 2000. They were up and running in they were the pilot, if you will, because anything as robust of a program as this, it has to have the governor's signature and the state medical officer's signature to become the standard of care, which today it is the standard of care in Alabama. But in August 26, 2013 is when the Southeast region stroke system went live. And then in August of 21, 2014, that's when the trauma system went live. We're yet to go live on the cardiac system. That's the last piece of the system. And it's in our very near future. There's no exact date, but it is in our very near future. And I'm going to kind of break down sort of how this works. So on the EMS side, basically what happens in the field, if someone dials 911 and an EMS agency responds, now this is both transport and non-transport. And typically a non-transport service gets there first and they do the lion's share of this work. So they come in and they do an assessment. And for this conversation, let's talk about stroke and trauma, because that's the only two legs that are turned on in the Southeast. So they do an assessment for stroke, which recently, as of April 29th of this year, we've actually increased this assessment to not only to identify if you're having a stroke in the field, but to identify if a large vessel is involved. And what that really means at the end of the day, when I talk about stroke centers, you're going to see the numbers of stroke centers you have in this region, but there's only 2 stroke centers that offer a very specific treatment, which is called cerebral thrombectomy, and one of them is here in the Southeast Health is one of those. And in adding this piece, and again, this is a pilot program, but adding this large vessel occlusion assessment to the field is going to route someone, which is for a very specific procedure that can only be done at 2 hospitals in the entire region. So that's you have to hit this just right every time. It's that important. So then, of course, also for trauma, if they're dealing with a major trauma, they have a specific assessment algorithm. And if the patient has one of these signs or symptoms, then they're going to enter them into the system. So once they've identified whether it be stroke or trauma, they're going to contact the ATCC. We all have them on speed dial. This is a simple process. Once we call them, we're telling them we're dealing with a 80-year-old male. He has an altered mental status. We suspect it's a stroke. These are our findings on our IMSA exam, and we give them their vitals. And we tell them we would like to go to Hospital A. Well, what they can see immediately in real time is every single hospital in the system's availability. And when I say availability, not that the doors are open in someone's home. They can see if they have a current CAT scan available. Do they have a neurologist available? Do they have an interventionist available? They know all of that in real time. So they could say, okay, EMS agency B, we're going to need you to not go to that hospital, but go 4 more miles to this hospital who has what you need to do. Now, that's a whole lot of complicated system, but it's going to make a huge difference in that patient's outcome. Not only their quality of life, but the fact that they're going to survive this. So inside the hospitals inside Region 5, this is a footprint of our hospitals in the region. So for stroke, we have 1 level 1 stroke center, which is Southeast Health. That's the only one in the entire region. We have 5 level 2 stroke centers, but if you'll notice, Southeast Health Baptist South in Montgomery. They're applying to become what's called a level 2A, which is a new type of hospital, because they just began thrombectomy treatment. So they'll actually be the second of that kind in the region. We have no level 1 trauma centers. But we do have Fort Walton that's applying to come in as a level 1. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed in the map, I was probably supposed to mention that, but outside the outer boundaries of the state of Alabama, we have Georgia Hospital, South Tennessee, Eastern Mississippi, and North Florida that are part of our system. They understand the impact that they can be inside the system. So Fort Walton, we're going down in June to do the walkthrough with them and to basically do their inspection to see if they can come into the system as a level 1, and they will be the only level 1 in our region, which is it's really exciting for us. And then, of course, we have 2 level 2s, which is Southeast and Baptist South. They're the only 2 level 2s. 13 level 3 stroke hospitals and 10 level 3 trauma centers. The rest of hospitals that are in the city, there's 3 of them in our region. These are all considered community hospitals. This is what it looks like at the Alabama Trauma Communication Center. It's really a very technical communication center with paramedic trained communicators. And that screen you see there, that's how they can tell in real time what each hospital has. So that's a lion's share of what we cover. Some other things that we do is education, and that's emergency medical responder, EMT basic, advanced EMT, which I'm proud to say Dothan Fire Department just graduated the very first advanced EMT class in the region on Friday, last Friday. So that's something to be proud of. We manage the American Heart Association Training Center for the region, and then of course continuing education for both paramedics and nursing staff. We do training for nurses as well. Grant assistance. In grant assistance, we don't technically write grants, but what we do is we help educate. We keep people aware that these grants are available. And oftentimes, this is one of the more political parts of the position. I've met with mayors, county commissions, just trying to explain what these monies are for and some of their best uses. And then investigations. This is that part I don't really like. Now, some of you, and I'm sure many of you, especially Chief Williams, Dr. Fred Pick, he's the regional medical director for Southeast. He and I walk hand in hand when we're doing investigations. He's the oversight. And these are for anything from acute health system errors, like where medics don't put people in the system, or where the communications center makes an error. We can reverse that process even. We look into treatment protocol errors. Now, one thing that I want to explain is the Southeast CMS office does not delve out discipline. We don't do that. We delve out education. The state, the Department of Public Health Office of EMS, they're the ones who do the oversight for actual discipline. And then, of course, when we're dealing with online med control issues, what an online med control is a physician that's working in an ER any given day that guides the EMT in the street on treatment. When they hit an unusual treatment path, they get on the phone with them and they guide them through that. Every now and then, sometimes the physician's not that aware with state law or state rules, and we have to go and provide some follow-up education for them. EMS agencies, like I mentioned, we support them. We have meetings, we provide updates, we take input from them, and we're kind of that go-between between the state office of EMS and those agencies, whether it's air, non-transport, or transport. And then committees. We serve on several committees. We serve on 2 healthcare coalitions, one in the northern part of our region, one in the southern part. We serve on the Heart Safe Initiative Committee with Southeast Health, Dothan Fire, and the Dothan Chamber of Commerce. That's something we're proud of. Please, if your business is in Houston County, please go onto the Southeast website and look into this program. We would love to come out and help make you a heart-safe business. And then the Houston County EMS Association, which has been a great opportunity. They're really strengthening Houston County's EMS coverage. And then we serve on 2 accrediting committees at Southeast Health, both cardiac and stroke. Instead of 5, I have 1 minute if anyone has any questions. Yes, sir.
You know, how many neurologists we have to
No, I do not know, Mr. Lee, I don't know how many we have actually. But if any of you are not aware, telemedicine is becoming a common trend at both hospitals to support the number of neurologists. Now, the unusual thing is the interventionalist. So that's Dr. Yogesh Udurani and Dr. Not Fernandez, but one of the other docs that is the rarity. There's only 2 of those. And that is something that is so unique. Southeast Health is actually a level 1. They're called a comprehensive stroke center. And there's nothing they can't do. They do coiling, clot removal. It's actually quite fascinating. All right, thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Sean and Grace. That was very, very interesting. I learned a lot just from what all you have to say. A lot more to say. Well, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And thank you to Dothan City Schools again, and thank you students for those essays. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, next week is going to be a really good program also, not that we ever have one that isn't, but this one is especially good because it is a Dothan native coming back. Charles Button is bringing Jack Martin to speak to us. He is a kicker at the University of Alabama, and he is I guess, played at Northview. So we'll look forward to having him speak. Thank you for all the visitors that were here and visiting Rotarians. We appreciate you being here. Let's do our 4-way test to keep it fresh in our minds as we go through our of the things that we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be goodwill, better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thanks.